Hey everyone, how you all doing? Kenma here, and welcome back to another episode of my Minecraft Survival Series. So, today, we have the plan of mapping out our village. Now, it's not going to be like 100% done or anything, it's just to give us an idea, so we kind of know what to work towards. And I do, first things first, want to come over here, and so the automatic shearing facility we have done. And the thing that's on the board that we want to focus on is we are going to be building houses for the armorer, or the toolsmith, and the weaponsmith. So since they're all kind of in the same area and they're going to be over there by that iron farm, I do think they're going to all have a similar style of build. I'm still kind of deciding if it's going to be one building or three, but we are going to get all of them done. And then, so the next thing we want to do is we're actually going to pop that off, and then we're going to take this one, pop that one on since that is the next one to do. There we go. And this one we're just going to put away for now, because I'm not quite sure where I want it. Let's just put it in here. Okay. Do I have any birch signs? 7, that should be good. So before we really begin, I do want to go over our fishing haul. So last episode, I kind of split, well, the last 2 episodes were supposed to be 1 and it got split into 2. And so I did an extra round of fishing just to kind of say I've fished every episode. So if we look at what we caught, it's going to be a little bit confusing, but for the first round of fishing, we got a bunch of fish, these 4 here. We got a stick, we got a saddle, a power 3, unbreaking 3 bow, a curse of binding enchanted book, and a name tag. So everything else came from the second round of fishing. So as you can see, more fish, a couple of water bottles, a bowl, a stick, leather, tripwire hook, rotten flesh, lily pad. Now we did get a Curse of Vanishing, Lure 3, Unbreaking 3, so that's not a horrible fishing rod. Curse of Vanishing is fine. Did get a saddle, and we got a Breach 2, Piercing 4 enchanted book. Once again, a nice enchanted book, but not the enchantments I'm looking for. Alright, so we did build our automatic sheep shearing facility last episode. So I'm going to be going inside, and let's take a look at the wool real quick. Alright, so what we're going to do is we need to decide what colors we're using and what do the colors represent. Let me go ahead and turn down the friendly mob sounds. Alright, so here's what I was thinking. So I'm trying to use like brighter colors to make sure it kind of contrasts with the green grass and everything out there and the brown dirt. So I'm thinking pink for roads. Red is going to be for storage / farms. And by that, I mean like, you know, the iron farm would have been red, or the mining entrance building is going to be red because I want that to have all the storage of all the mining items we can get. Things like that. Light green is going to be aesthetic landscape build, so it's not something that is like a farm or a building, but maybe like a tree or the fenced off area or the pasture or something. Similarly, light blue is going to be aesthetic water builds. We got that. Now, what about like normal buildings that aren't farms? I'm thinking maybe orange here. So I'm just going to call it aesthetic builds. Buildings. So we got farms. What else are we going to have? We have builds, like villager builds. So aesthetic building. So yeah, that's still going to be like orange for like villager houses. Trees, water features, roads. Are there any other colors we really need right now? Now, we might pick some more up as we go, but I think this is a really good start. So let me grab a couple blocks of wool of each of these. All right, we are back outside of our house, and it is the next day. So first, let's just start. Like, I know the center of the world is up there, or our spawn point is up there, but it's part of me that's like, I really like my house. It's kind of like my starting point, per se. So why don't we take this and just start here? So we got our wool, so we're gonna take it and we're gonna say, we're gonna have a road going that way towards those builds, a road that way, and a road over there. Let's go like this, and then we can just start placing down our blocks. Alright, so this is gonna lead up here, and then I also kind of want to lead around over here, or do I want it over there? Actually, over there might not be a bad spot. Because over there is where the redstone is. So yeah, like I'm still gonna need a road this way to get to this spot, and then I think we're gonna eventually be clearing out these trees and adding more builds over here. This will be the start of the road, and let's go around this way. So this episode, the mapping portion is just gonna kind of be like this. I'm just gonna kind of explain my thought process as I work on this stuff. So we're gonna have to level some of these hills here, but that's okay. We did have orange for like villager houses, so I'm not gonna like map out 100% the village house. I'm just gonna give a rough idea, because that's all we need. Because things can change. I might say, you know, for this villager house, I was going to have a small square one, but maybe next time I decide, you know, I want a big triangle one. So this is just to give me an idea of where things are going to be. I do need to go and make more signs, though, because I do want to kind of mark what each area is. So let me go grab some more birch signs, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I went a little bit overboard with the signs. Here we go. So this, I actually want to be the shepherd's. There we go. Shepherd's house. So this is going to be for the shepherd villager, and I'm even thinking that we're going to kind of go up and around, and we're going to have actual sheep outside, right? They're going to be tending to the sheep, getting the wool, all that kind of stuff. This is kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen in the back here. What if we just fence all this in, so to speak? And this is just kind of where the shepherd tends to his livestock. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. Might even have like a small patch of wheat nearby that he uses to feed his sheep. But he also trades with the farmers. Maybe he gives them wool, or like their beds and their blankets or carpet and stuff. So that way, that's kind of their interaction, right? He gets not only food for himself, but food for his sheep. Then he tends to them, and then this giant. So that might look a little weird. A small house and a giant building that's doing the automatic shearing, but could even have it as like a kind of addition onto here. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. It might look kind of weird with like a small building as the shepherd's house, and then he kind of like runs this area. Or maybe this is the like wool mill where he processes all of his wool. I don't know. We'll have to think about that. So let's head back out here, and let's start getting our road. We're gonna come out a little bit, and then we're gonna kind of head in this direction. And we're gonna link this up with the farmhouse. And then we do have this here, so I do want to make a path down here as well. We already have the path there and the path over there, but I feel like, you know, that's where the farmers would be walking around, right? The farmers would be coming out there and over here, and everybody else that is coming from other parts of the village would actually be taking paths in between. I guess because we have the like full path here, maybe they'd be taking this too. I like the idea that maybe they'd be taking a different path. So let's just go ahead and line this up here. And I did say for like farms and stuff, I'm gonna consider this an aesthetic farm here. So we already have the white wool. I'm just gonna put a bunch of green wool next to them. So this will be like, this is supposed to be like the carrot farm and the beetroot farm. One of these is even supposed to be potentially another wheat farm, but we're gonna have a windmill in it or something like that. Thinking with that windmill, that's even where we're, if I make it big enough, that is where we will have the whatchamacallit, the automatic pumpkin and melon farm going. Alright, so let's just do this real quick. If I remember correctly, this one back here was definitely going to be the beetroot farm, like it's a little bit smaller because I don't I don't really need a lot of beetroot. Maybe just for trades if I get a villager that wants it. So let's put up some signs. This is going to be the beetroot farm. Now we do kind of have a carrot farm back there with the villagers, but I think I'm going to not do that. Well, we aren't going to harvest and plant that. That is for the villagers. So that is why we have our carrot farm over here. And then we also have this spot, and it wraps around. This was supposed to be the wheat/windmill. Pumpkin melon farm. But I guess that one would be red, so what? So if that's the case, it would actually be, we'll just say wheat windmill farm, and then the red gonna be up here. Like we'd have a nice big windmill. So we'd have to do a lot of terraforming here too. Have a nice big windmill area. Right around here. And this would be windmill, and auto, pumpkin, and melon. Okay. All right, we're starting to see a whole bunch of wool. So that does mean this road is then going to kind of continue in between these two. And I don't know where to go from here right now, so we'll stop it there. And we kind of have the same thing going on over here. We're going to just go around. So again, a little more terraforming needs to happen there. We can kind of have this wrap around, maybe give a little bit more area over here. All right, so we'll stop that road over there. A quick nap. Let's go down this path. All right, so obviously these guys are not all going to be here the entire time. I'm not quite sure how I want to do some of this. So we are definitely going to have, I have like ideas for different sections. We're definitely going to have to find a way to like bring them all together. So I think I'm going to use red and green because I don't know if this is going to be a purely decorative build, the nether portal room, or if I'm also going to be having maybe we also have nether storage in there. As I'm trying not to do a central storage hub yet for this build, I gotta find out what exactly I want to do in order to store items like the nether items. We're just gonna kind of keep going around with this. Alright, so let's go like that, and then we're gonna say nether portal, and then storage question mark. Okay, we got that. Next over here is definitely going to be a storage build. So what I'm thinking is let's see. Okay, so we got like a potential mine entrance over here. So this is where we found, you go down, then you have the spider and zombie farms. So I'm kind of thinking we are going to have a decently large build here. I don't know exactly how large. Once again, it's all subject to change. Let's put all this down. This is supposed to be our miners building with storage. And then right in the back here, we're going to have a green build. And this is going to be the mine entrance. I think it's going to be this big. I'm just going to close it all off anyway, so let's do that. Whoa. All right, so this is our mine entrance. So I do think, yeah, it's our, I don't know if the front of the building is going to be over here or over here. We'll just kind of start right here. We're going to have a road that goes in between the two. And then the mine entrance might also be over here, so let's put that there. And then we're going to need to link this up to our iron farm. And one thing to note, I have not updated to 1.21.9 yet. If we do, our iron farm, we will have to find a different way to keep it going if we want it running in the background. It sounds like it would be, the best way to do that would be through an ender pearl loading thing. I have to look more into it when I find some good videos, so I will let you all know, and we'll come back and do that for this area. All right. So we do have like this large open spot here. Maybe we put one of our smith buildings over here, and then we put two more over there. So that would look like, let's just go. All right, so let's just say this is the Toolsmith. And over here, And this could be the Weaponsmith. And then right next door. Oh, we gotta clear out all these trees. And so this right over here could be the Armorsmith. Which means we are going to then have some roads linking them up. We're going to kind of walk all the way around. We do have another path right here we could do. Right, kind of go in front of the Toolsmiths. We can kind of link this up over here somehow. And then, so we do have this nice open spot here. That could be a build. What kind of build though? So I do want to make a moss farm soon. I really want to make a bee farm, but I want the bee farm somewhere else. So as this is more like the industrial area, right? We have the mines, we have the mines, we have the iron farm, we have our weapon, Armorsmith and Toolsmith. Or what if we just had like an aesthetic feature right here? What if we had a nice like water fountain, or maybe we had some kind of a bar, you know, let these villagers have somewhere to rest after a hard day's work or something. So since I don't know what we want yet, I'm just gonna say bar. Fountain. Okay, so we got some ideas. Now we're getting to the point where this is pretty much what I had planned out in my head. And we got to kind of start filling in things as we see fit. So as you can see, like the quote unquote town isn't complete. But we have some ideas. We have some areas marked off, which is really nice. I do want to do the barn build. So thinking we're going to have the farmers over there. What if... what if it wasn't the farmers tending to the barn? What if that was the butchers? Is the butcher trade? So maybe we have the farms coming over here, and then we're going to have like a giant pasture here that has all of the different... I guess we'll just do cows and pigs since the shepherds have the sheep. Even though the butcher can technically trade lamb items, I believe. The lamb chops. What if they traded? That could be something else. Maybe they trade meat to the shepherd for their like old, or the sheep that kind of purposely grew, or that they have too much of. I'm trying to say without sounding too morbid, but all right. And then so this would be the barn. Don't think the barn's really going to store anything. So once again, I'm really going to have to like clean off or get rid of all these trees and really start terraforming to kind of see what exactly we have going on over here. There's just going to be a lot of tree cutting soon. So I'm just kind of doing this really quickly here. So let's just say... Butcher's build. I did make what? right, now I did, let me get rid of that. Now I did make the barn orange as well. It probably should have been a different color. That's okay. So we can just go over here and we'll say barn build. And then like barn pasture. This doesn't mean that we are going to want to take this path and kind of go between the pasture here. Meet back up. Now let's go take a look at our board over here and see if there's any more farms that it's like, okay, I plan on doing this farm soon. Let's find a place for it. All right, let's see here. We already talked about the automatic pumpkin farm. So we just talked about the barn and the pasture, the barn and sheep. So barn is no longer part of the sheep, but that's okay. We can leave it here. Mine entrance, we put down lumber mill. Oh, do we have an area that they're going to be chopping down trees and stuff? I don't even know what kind of build I want for that yet. I'll have to think about that one. Cartographer. Cartographer would be a good one. Let's see. Spawn into the world. Do you want the cartographer right here? Like in kind of like a village square area? We're going to need a library at some point. So the bee farm is good. I'd like that. Moss farm we got to find a place for. Sugarcane farm. Sugarcane farm is probably going to be near the librarian since I'm going to be using that a lot. Bamboo farm as well. There's actually a few different bamboo farms, so I'll have to figure out how I want to do that. Butcher, we put down Fletcher. Oh. We could have the Fletcher over by the Toolsmiths over there. Like maybe that's not the tavern in between. Maybe that is the Fletcher build. And then the tavern would be a little bit closer here. I guess at what point do we go from kind of farm stuff to more like village square stuff? And then like have an inn, have a tavern, you know, things like that. And then that would actually be pretty nice here. Like, and then a tavern. Now the only thing about this is I was thinking that we were going to have, we had like the little more industrial area, and then I do want a path through these mountains because there was the taiga village over there. I'm thinking maybe we even like do something with that taiga village and revamp it. So obviously our spawn point village is going to be huge, right? We're going to have every type of villager. Like this is going to be my one-stop shop for if I die, if I need anything. This is where I'm coming to get my items, or at least to restock my items. Now, the other villages we put down, I'm thinking are going to be smaller villages. We want to be able to trade things. So that's just something to keep in mind. I do need to finish this build so we kind of know how far out it comes and how we want that to look. Would it be better to just have like a small town square and some carts, like some quote unquote, you know, vendors out here? I'm not really sure. This is the nice thing about the wool is if I decide, you know what, I actually don't want that build there, I can just take it all up, use some shears if I want to take it down faster, and just kind of replan. I can just start replaning everything. And that's where kind of, it's not so great that we already started placing our buildings, but you know, we needed or I wanted to get this kind of infrastructure in before we really started placing down all the wool and stuff, because otherwise that would have just been days upon days upon days of sheep shearing. Actually, with that said, let's take a look at how many days have passed. So if I hit F3 here, we look over here on the left. We are on day 530. We are not moving very fast at all, and I am A-okay with that. I like taking my time in these games. I'm not trying to speed run. I'm not trying to do a 100 days challenge. We are just building up a world. All right, so I think I'm going to have to stop with the town building right now. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to clear out all of these trees. And we're going to kind of decide if these are the areas we want the Armorsmiths and Weaponsmiths in. So we're going to clear out the trees. We're going to come back with like an overhead view of our area, probably either riding our Happy Gas or with the replay mod. And then we'll get into the Toolsmith builds, or all the smithing builds. So yeah. So I will see you all in a little bit. It'll be a few seconds for you guys, as always, with the power of editing magic. And we also have to decide what we're doing with this area. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. All right. Well, I'm going to go cut some trees. See you in a bit. Alrighty. So let's take a look. So we got our starter house here. We got our sheep farm. You can see the pink path that we have. The farmer villagers. We got more plots over here we wanted to do. Got this lovely little path over here. Now we're not sure how to connect it up. We got our spawning platform that we need to finish decorating. And over here, so that green part was the pasture, the red part was like the barn and the butcher house. I think the pasture is actually going to be a lot bigger, so I do want to make that a lot bigger. The barn probably decent size as well. We'll have to do that. I have a path going right in between and connecting up over here. Over here you can see we got like the miners building, the mine entrance in the back there. And we have a couple of builds over here for the Weaponsmith, Armorsmith, and Toolsmith. Now, I was in creative doing some testing, trying to come up with a build. So the Armorsmith build is going to be a lot bigger, and the Toolsmith and Weaponsmith will share one building-ish. So that one will probably be a lot bigger too. That's okay. So the next thing to figure out is like, where do we go from here? All right. I was thinking about it. I think the hard thing with this town here is I didn't really have like a plan for the town per se, besides it's a spawn town, so when you spawn in, you will have all your resources available to you. You know, like, there's a lot of towns where maybe they're built, like, over there on the edge of the ocean, at a nice bay or something, and then the town kind of builds up from there, so you have, like, the really bustling port city, and that kind of sprawls out into, they have the fishing, and then maybe they have the farming sprawl out behind the city, another part of the city where the royalty or nobles live. Then you have other places where, you know, they're living on a river or something. Or, you know, other cities where they're looking for defensible positions, so they'll be up in the mountains or something. And we don't really have anything like that for this town, and I think that's okay. So it's just, but it is going to make like laying out the village, so to speak, a little bit harder. So what I'm looking at is we're definitely keeping like the farming stuff over on this side, Probably have the bees over there near that water source. Thinking of having a moss farm over in that little valley trench. And what's going to happen is we're going to have 2 paths leading out of this central area. So one is going to be that way, that leads towards the taiga village that I'm thinking I will try to revamp and reform into a different village. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to actually head out towards the ocean. And this is where a lot more of the other villager trades will be. So maybe that'll be the start of like the cartographer build, and then I'm blanking on the rest of them. So we'll definitely have like the fisherman build over here. I'm thinking masons will be over there because they're using the materials from the ground as well. Librarians will probably be over here. Maybe our town square, even though our spawn point is kind of a town square. So yeah, I think that's kind of what we're looking at. So I gotta take down that platform we were using to spawn zombies that I've turned into a mud farm. I do want to build a permanent mud farm somewhere. That was just a temporary solution. Yeah, I think that's all I really got right now for this. So I'm going to go and collect more resources and get to building the Smith builds. Now, I don't know if I'll do a time lapse or not. Probably not. I'm thinking it might be a little too sporadic to be able to do a time lapse with those builds. But I'll bring you guys back once we're ready with that. I also want to make a note that you can see I do have my diamond tools on me, and they do have better durability than what they had in the past because I keep repairing them with diamonds so I can use them. So, all right, Oasis, I'm just gonna have to tie you up again for a little bit. Eventually we'll get you a home. Got some other things I'm working on. All right, I'll meet you guys all back here once I've got the Smith building's complete. All right, hey everyone, welcome back. So I finally did it. It's taken over a month. I was even messing with my settings. You can see I got a lovely little cape on. I'll show you that in a little bit. But I finally did it. I finally built the 3 Smith houses. I did end up separating them, but they're all kind of based off of the same structure, general structure. So it's really the insides that are going to kind of differentiate them. Why don't we take a look at that? So also, yeah, as you can see, I got the Minecraft cape on because why not? I was looking at my settings and it was there and I'm like, it's green. I want to use it. Okay, so here we are. You can see it's already been a bit. Some of the roofs of these have already started to oxidize a little bit. We have our 3 buildings, and they're all the same kind of like L-shaped building with a furnace section on the outside here. So these 2 are a little bit smaller, and then this one's a little bit bigger. So this is actually the Armorsmith. Now, I do want to get it to where I can like wax this stuff, so a bee farm is definitely in the near future. So let's go in and first look at this Armorsmith build. So when we come inside, we're going to be, as we trade with these Armorsmiths, putting their wares on display here. We got a bunch of barrels that we can hold all the different items that we collect from them. They'll be able to go outside and, this would be, we'll say like this is the furnace that they're working from. They'll be smithing or hammering out their different armors. So we got like a little counter here that they would be selling you things from. We got one Armorsmith, whatchamacallit, job block here, the blast furnace, and a blast furnace there. Then back here, what I was thinking was you got like a little kitchen area, like they're just going to do like a little bit of kitchen stuff. They're using the furnace that's on the other side that they use for their smithing, but use the residual heat to cook things. Then you come up here, Then you've got a nice lovely carpet. And so each building has its own kind of color combination. This one is cyan and light blue. But it's got its own like living space, their own little table, a little bookshelf here, some paintings. We got the little bedroom here, more paintings. So yeah, I think it's pretty cute. I really like it. And then we got the same kind of entrance here where they can't get out, but I can get in. And we got the same general structure for both the Toolsmith and the Weaponsmith. Once again, you can see a slightly smaller forge. We're going to come up and around. Once again, we're going to have signs. Now, each sign is going to display, so that one's going to display some chest pieces for, obviously, an Armorsmith. That one will display some swords for a Weaponsmith, and this one will display some pickaxes for a Toolsmith. So come inside, you see we got our Toolsmith builds. We got some barrels. We got some logs here to represent, it's a Toolsmith. You're going to have axes. You're going to have pickaxes, so you're going to be able to get different ores. Same setup here where they come outside. You got the furnace and there's their anvil to work on their wares. So again, you come in the back, you got more storage, a slightly bigger area where they are preparing food and such. You come upstairs. These ones are green and light green or lime green. And yeah, so we're going to have the same kind of things. A little study here. Once again, a bedroom area. We've got more carpets, more storage, and a nice little table for them. And more paintings. Let's go take a look at the Weaponsmith. And so once again, the Weaponsmith is more the same. Once again, different wood type on the inside, a little bit of storage. We got the grindstone, we got a grindstone. Now I want some leather here on these different armor stands to kind of be like, these are the training dummies that you test your swords and axes on. We've got a lot more storage back here. Once again, dealing with the furnace. And we go upstairs and these guys are orange and yellow. Let's see, a little bit more storage, sleeping quarters, storage, painting, little table and chair to look outside. Yeah. So they're all kind of the same and all slightly different, and I like that. If I was more imaginative, or I don't want to say had more time, like this has already taken over a month, but I would do like slightly more varied builds between these, but at the end of the day, I am happy with them. We got some texturing, we got some nice texturing in the sides here. Once again, I'm going to want to do some more with the roofs with some waxing and such. This one's got campfire, that's got a hay bale and a campfire. This one was a 2x2, so we got both the normal campfire and a hay bale campfire. Yeah. I'm really happy with these. Now, I will say, because of how long this episode has gone on, I hope you enjoyed the kind of more non-edited part when we're going around and placing the wool, and I'm kind of giving you my thoughts of how things are going to be laid out. But because of the timing, I do think I'm going to wait till next episode to really introduce the villagers. And I wanted to kind of do that because really need to introduce the villagers. I never really introduced the villagers in like a way that I wanted to, of going over their trades and kind of pulling some information from the Minecraft wiki. So I want to do that, and we're going to go over the farmers again. We're going to go over the Armorsmith, Toolsmith, and Weaponsmith and what trades we're looking from them. And we need to get some more babies. I do need to get my farmers working on that, as well as the cartographers. I want to look at the cartographers. So next episode, we're going to look at those 3 different professions. We're going to go ahead and say we need 16 babies. So we're going to look at those professions next episode, and I'm also going to be building the actual cartographer house. I'm going to do a little bit more with maps. And I want to do kind of remap this area so we can kind of see how it's changed. And yeah, we're going to get the trial chamber map. That's what we're going to do. That way the episode after that, we can get to a trial chamber. But with all that said, we need more babies, and we do have one problem. You can kind of see it inside here right now. I don't have my spyglass on me, but I was mining in the depths, looking for more copper and stone and andesite and everything, and we had a little mishap. You can see we got some zombie villagers again. I know there's a second one. I don't know where they're at. They might be upstairs. I hope they're upstairs. Did I lose one? I don't have any boats on me. But yeah, so we lost. Alright, both, yep, there he is. I saw him. Okay. So both of our villagers got turned into zombie villagers again. What I'm thinking might have happened is, it's going to be a little bit hard to see. Maybe not. But I think zombies were spawning up there because the doors weren't broken this time. So it wasn't like a zombie raid. I didn't have zombies breaking down the doors. I think they spawned up there and walked over the fence and onto the ground and into this area where they walked inside and got the zombie villagers. Or the zombie villagers were outside, or something happened and our villagers got turned into zombie villagers. So we're going to have to turn them back. I'm going to do that in between episodes. So when we come back, we can just get right away into working, into seeing what each villager profession has to offer and how we're going to start dispersing our villagers around. With Oasis and the setting sun behind me, I think we're going to end this episode. Thank you again all so much for watching, for liking and commenting. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you find something to smile about today, wherever you are. So, until next episode, peace out. Alright, we gotta get some villagers unzombified. I gotta get another build planned. Yeah, we got this. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it all. Yeah.